Hi, and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. I hope you guys have been having a great day. We are here with the evening show. And on the evening show, you know that we always try to drop a guest. We had Drifty last night representing Liverpool. On the previous night to that, we had Lewis, eventually, who came in representing Chelsea. But today, we've got a bit of a Leicester theme. We've got Lee Chappie representing Leicester. How you doing, Lee?
Oh, thanks for having me on, mate. I love doing this stuff. I've actually just spoke to Drifty for the last hour on his channel, so busy.
Oh, trust me, Drifty last night, his defence of Liverpool really got a load of fans wound up on here. You know what I mean? He was saying that we're going to actually, I'm not even going to say too much yet because we are going to discuss that later on because this sort of affects Leicester as well. What we was talking about, right? So we will talk about that a little later on as well. First of all, just before we get into the main topic today, I want to just talk to the Arsenal fans about Willian. Now, Willian today, I think he's been talking to TV over in Brazil, and he said that he'd be interested in either signing for either Arsenal or Spurs. I don't know how that would go down with the Spurs fans because he famously turned down Tottenham. He was about to sign for Tottenham, turned them down and went to Chelsea. And the Tottenham fans hate his guts for that. So him saying that he'd been open for him to a move to Tottenham, I don't know how Tottenham fans will feel about that. I don't care, to be honest, but I don't think they'll be too impressed with that. But Arsenal fans as well are not feeling it. We're not feeling Willian. I mean, Lee, Willian?
He's a good player, but I suppose it makes sense for him to stay in London.
Yeah.
So that's
I think he wants to stay in London because he loves it in London.
Exactly.
It's not really what we need right now, but if he did
what do you need, Robbie? What do you need?
Well, we'll talk about that later, but it could be a couple of players at your place. But we definitely, I don't think we need Willian. We've got wingers, we've got, and he's going to be a lot of wages. For me, I'm not fancying that at all. A big going out to Connor Brown. He says, "Hi Robbie, can you shout out my friend Billy Bray? Billy Bray, enough respect to you." Of course, one of the other subjects, Lee, is this one where they're talking about the fact that there could be games played in the Premier League because they had this big meeting today of all the Premier League teams, and they're looking at obviously finishing the league behind closed doors, right? So there'll be no fans. And there's even talk today that it could be until 2021. Football without fans until 2021. I mean, I don't know what you feel about that, but that horrifies me, if I'm being honest.
Listen, if I've got to stay in at the weekends, I think I'm going to drive my missus crazy. She is going to kick me out at some point if it goes on for that long. I don't know if you're into wrestling or anything. I mean, I watched WrestleMania. I only watch that really once a year sort of thing. It's a massive event. No fans this year, WrestleMania, awful. I mean, that show's based on fans because it's a live pantomime sort of thing, isn't it? I can't imagine Premier League with no fans. Honestly, it's horrendous. You must have seen the England games behind closed doors on the TV. You can hear a pin drop. There's no atmosphere There's nothing that creates the excitement of watching the game. It's like watching a training match.
Yeah.
No, but nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But is that what we're going to get, Robbie? Because if that's the only way, if that's the only way to finish the season.
If the season's going to be finished, that's how it's going to be finished behind closed doors. It horrifies me when they talk about possibly till 2021 behind closed doors because. Like I'm not a wrestling guy, but I have seen a couple of those wrestling things where there's no fans, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
there's no point. Forget it. Just don't do it. I mean, I don't know how many people are still watching it or whatever, but it looks pretty dire to me because there's just no atmosphere there. And in football relies on atmosphere.
Yep.
Right. I know you lot have got your clappers at your place and all that.
Oh, right? Don't start with them. Honestly. We don't even like them things anymore. I think that worked that season when we won the Premier League. It was like a one-off thing, and that was part of that season. But they kept carrying it on. I mean, those things cost about 30 grand a match.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
But listen, it's I'm horrified that if it was to go to 2021 with no fans, I wouldn't like. I keep using this example, right? That we played Olympiacos away.
Yeah.
And when we played Olympiacos away, it was one of the most hostile stadiums you can go to. The atmosphere was unbelievable.
Can't even imagine.
And I saw Wolves play Olympiacos away with no fans. And it was almost like they were playing a different team. There was no atmosphere. Wolves won the game pretty easily because it was just like playing a different team, because that team relies on their great atmosphere. The North London derby, which would have took place last week with no fans. It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, Mr. A is saying, Robbie, all the clubs want the season finish, which includes us. So our opinion doesn't matter at the moment. But I'm just saying, no fans. The more I keep thinking about how things are going, you just start to think to yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth finishing the season? Should we just call it void? Because, it's not. And that you make a great point when you bring up that wrestling thing, because
it's poor to watch on the TV. I mean, I don't watch it religiously, but I mean, I did watch the WrestleMania thing, and I usually watch that every year. WrestleMania, because it's a big event. Oh, so bad, Robbie. Honestly, they even split it into 2 days because they had to. It's just it was so bad, and I can't imagine what the football was going to be like. I mean, we spoke to Richard Stearman last night on Leicester Fan TV.
Okay,
and it was talking us through bits and bobs like the VAR and how that destroys the atmosphere. Can you imagine what it's going to be like if that's still in place? And it's just my head's exploding on the thought of it, mate.
It's I don't know. I'm just not feeling it at the moment. No fans. Fans make the game. I mean, I suppose, all right, to finish the season, but if it was to then continue into the next season, with no fans, I mean, that's going to be awful.
If we can just finish this season, even if it is without fans, so we can all get our placements, because I want Leicester to get Champions League football. It's a lot of money involved to the club that I care about. But I don't want another season with no fans, a full season with no fans, Robert. Can you imagine?
Yeah. This guy, Carstaff, said, with the Bundesliga voided, my good girlfriend was top of her tipping competition. Should that be voided too? 3 players tested positive since returning to training. I didn't hear that the Bundesliga has been voided. I heard that they put it back.
I've heard they put it back.
Yeah, obviously the French league has been voided, right? So, but the other thing is as well is this thing about neutral venues as well. This is another thing that they were discussing today. Yeah. That to finish it, they may play it at some neutral venues. So they're looking at grounds that could be neutral venues where they could just play a load of games very quickly. Again, I don't know. What's your view on that? With the games being completed at a neutral venue.
Oh man, it's like when you're learning how to drive, and there's that crash course you can take that you just you get your license in like a day, don't you? It's not going to end up well, is it? Let's be honest with you. It's not going to end up well. No, I don't think that would be a good idea. Not
St George's Park. There was a suggestion at St George's Park and get all the players in there and stuff like that. And
I don't know. I mean, it's not even safe, is it? Really? Let's be honest with you. I've seen some things while I'm a key worker during the day. I've seen some sites already, mate. I just don't think it's right yet. I don't think it's right to carry on playing yet.
And also, I think one of the things they were talking about today as well. Let me just get the information that I had here. Right, they're saying that they may need the Premier League would need up to 40,000 tests for players and staff if plans to play the games go ahead. That would be for like all the 92 outstanding games, right? So 40,000.
That's mental.
Now, I remember at the moment, they're even struggling to do tests for all the key workers and that. But
yeah, I'm still in the queue, mate.
40,000 tests. That's a lot.
No. It's not essential, is it? It's not essential, is it? It's not, though, is it?
Are you starting to feel that it might not get completed?
I don't think it will. I do think it will be voided. That's just my opinion. I mean, I see like I speak to a lot of people in like my industries, Royal Mail, postal stuff. I speak to a lot of union people, and I got told quite a lot of stuff about lockdowns before it was announced. And the way that they're talking about how the company is and how the infrastructure is of all sorts of stuff going on, it don't sound to me like anything's going to be carrying on. It really doesn't. Just from how I'm told of other things going on, I can't see it being played, mate. I really can't.
What would happen to Leicester? Leicester, third in the league at the moment. Going, your best season since you won the Premier League.
Yeah.
Champions League football beckoning.
Yeah. Brilliant times.
We had Drifty on last night. Obviously, Liverpool fan. He said that it should be awarded to Liverpool, and then the teams in second, third, and fourth going to the Champions League, and the 3 teams at the bottom relegated. What's your views on it?
The view on giving them the title. Surely they don't want a title without the ribbons on. Surely. You don't want to be given this Premier League trophy, but there's no ribbons on it, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's the full thing. They're not going to get the full thing. They're going to have a little asterisk on the bottom saying, not completed. You don't want that. You don't want that. Well, I wouldn't want that. Would you?
No, I wouldn't want that. No.
No, exactly.
We ain't want it for a long time. I might take it, but no, I wouldn't want it.
We've only had it once, Robbie. We've only had it once. 4 years ago, we had it. 4 years ago tomorrow.
It's got the DVD.
Of course, it's right here. It's right here. We're going to do a watch along on the Leicester Fan TV. Come and watch a.
No, you're good, mate.
Subscribe. But I don't know. I mean, I want Leicester to get Champions League football because they created some amazing experiences for the club. And for the city as well. The city was buzzing because we hadn't experienced anything like that. We just come off the back of winning the league, which changed the city, changed my life forever. And to get it again is just like, oh man, it's just more. We want more, and that's what we want now. We want to establish ourselves as like this bigger side. But at the same time, I don't want. It's health and safety, isn't it, for the players, for the staff? There's a lot of people that work to get that football played on that pitch. It's not just a bunch of 22 men on a field kicking a ball. It don't start from that. There's a lot of build up. There's a lot of set up. It's a lot of people's lives, families. That's more important, isn't it?
But where would you stand on if it finished, the league finished? What should happen then? Should it just be voided and we start again next season? And that means you wouldn't get
I know
league football, or do you think that Leicester should still be? It should still go down that you finish in third, you get Champions League football. The top 4 is the top 4, and the bottom 3 is the bottom 3, and they get relegated. What's your view on it?
It's not fair, is it? Across the board, it's not fair because Aston Villa could get out of it. They're more than capable. They've spent plenty of money as well. Can you imagine if their fan base? Can you imagine them just being told, "Sorry, boys, you're going down"? The amount of money that they've spent as well. It's a tough one to balance because you're always going to be biased on your own team. I want Champions League football, so I wouldn't want it to be voided because I want Champions League football. But at the same time, I'm putting other fans' perspectives in it and thinking, well, it's not fair. Imagine if we was bottom. Imagine how would you feel if Arsenal was bottom, but on a bad run of games and for some reason you were 18th? How would you feel?
No, I hear you, and that's what I was putting to Drifty last night. He weren't having it. He still thinks that Liverpool should be awarded the title, the top 4, and the other teams are relegated. But for me, I just look at it and I say, if the season is cancelled, it's cancelled. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, just cancel it. Just cancel it, man.
It'd be unfortunate for Liverpool. It'd be very unfortunate for Leicester because they're having a great season. But I just can't see any other way if it's cancelled. And then if they do play it behind closed doors, I suppose to get it completed, but it's not going to be great, is it?
No, but and the thing is, some teams thrive off of the atmosphere. Some teams thrive off that away support when you go to away. Away games, I'm thinking some of the loudest fans, like Aston Villa, they're going to be cheering their team on to get out of relegation. They're going to be, really battling. It's just got, I don't know, man. It's a tough one. And this is the conversations that they're probably having at the Premier League and stuff. Yeah, it's got to be the same thing.
They're desperate to finish it at the Premier League. I mean, let's get a few comments on that. Lone Star Londoner says, void the season. No, everyone wants the season finished properly, fairly, and when it's safe enough to do so. The best league in the world deserves integrity. And I hear what he's saying, and we do want to finish the season, and we don't want to avoid it, but we might.
It's got to be safe. It's got to be safe, Robbie. It's got to be safe for people's families.
But here says, Robbie, in cricket, the Cricket Council is organising matches between the big teams versus the small teams to raise funds for the small teams. What do you think? I think they should introduce it into football. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of teams further down the pyramid that are going to be really suffering. I mean, how hard has this hit Leicester? Have you guys, are you doing any sort of deferment of wages, or is there any sort of taking wage cuts?
No, the latest news that I've seen on the Leicester Mercury, what we follow over here, is that none of the staff, the groundsmen, you name it, that none of them have been furloughed. Nothing. So,
what about your players? Are they going to have to take a pay cut?
I think there's a few that have probably donated money and whatnot, but as far as I'm aware, there's no one's took any massive pay cuts of any kind yet.
It's strange because at Arsenal, we were one of the first teams to dive in and say, right, everyone's got to take a wage cut.
That's your owners.
Leicester have not taken a wage cut.
Leicester's owners, though, man. I'm not gonna. I know I'm biased because I'm a Leicester fan, but our owners are insane. It's just so good. They're so good. It's unbelievable. Honestly, I think we've got the best owners. I think we have got the best owners in the league.
And they'll put their hands in their pocket and cover it.
I believe that. Yeah, I do.
All right. Spider-Man says too many agendas from fans. Oh, obviously, every fan is looking out for their own club.
Of course,
and, you can understand that. You know what I mean? You can understand that. But I mean, because in France they gave the league to PSG.
It's wrong, man.
You think that's wrong?
Well, they're the big bias side anyway over there, aren't they? No one else that can really touch them. So. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Dust says, Robbie, they should already call the season as it is. Were it not for the games in hand, that's a lot of hard work by some clubs wasted. I still don't think you can do it. I'm sorry. I just feel that, I know Leicester, for instance, brilliant season, but if it can't be finished, there's still 10 games left. A lot of games.
Yeah. It's like we've played Liverpool twice. But say someone at the bottom might have not, or vice versa, sort of thing. Some teams have played the big boys, some haven't. Some have. It's not fair. Yeah,
that's results aren't fair. I hadn't even considered that. That's true. That's true because you would have had some of those teams down the bottom.
Exactly.
That they could be sort of languishing near the bottom because they played Liverpool, City, Leicester. You know what I mean? And then there's other teams that. They might have those teams coming up.
Yeah.
So again, it makes it very unfair to just assume that you're going to give it to somebody. I mean, that's why I don't,
I know, but again, this is team biased thing, isn't it? Everyone's focused on their own team. No one's focused on the whole thing. David
Vargas says, don't even start football if there are no fans. Again, it looks like it will be started with no fans. Stephen, off of Facebook, he's saying, finish the league is the best choice. Voiding the league is plan B. Definitely is plan B. Omar says the season will have to be voided. A lot more people are starting to say void it. There's loads of these ones. Vardy.
Loads of them, man. Just follow me on Lee_Chapman on Twitter and Insta, man.
Do you still get a lot of people thinking you are Vardy?
No, I think it's more a bit of banter now, more than anything, to be honest with you. Yeah. It was obviously more in 2016 when we'd won the league, and it was bonkers because he was the main man, and really in England as well, weren't he? It was all over the place. So that story, man, I've put it past me now because
he's had a great season as well, isn't he, Vardy?
Yeah, he has. He really has. He's a 20-goal scorer a season, mate. He really is. I know he's like 30. I think he's 33 now. And I think every year since we've won the league, people have said, yeah, well, this is his last year. It's his last year. The guy's had his best bleep test. He's had his best heart rate monitors. Everything you could think of is the best this season. Wow. He's the fittest he's ever been. What did Drifty say? What's that film where the guy starts old and gets younger? Benjamin Button. He's the Benjamin Button of football.
It's just we're having the same sort of argument with Aubameyang because there'll be people who look at his age and say, right, well, he's 30 now, he's starting to get older. But I look on it and I always say, you have to look at the player now, not the age, because some of the best strikers around at the moment are all over 30. Vardy's one of them. You know what I mean? Aubameyang's another one. And Aubameyang doesn't play like a 30-year-old. He plays like a kid. You know what I mean? And he's still got all the pace, just like Vardy's got pace.
Yeah.
You know, so they haven't lost that. And like you're saying that Vardy's fitter than he's ever been. And it shows. I mean, he's slightly ahead of Aubameyang in the scoring stakes, but both of them have been superb this season in front of goal.
Yeah. And the thing is, Vardy's not scored in like something stupid in like 10 matches or something. 6 matches. I can't remember the stats. It's been that long ago, Robert. How long were you now? About 50 days without football? I can't remember.
I forgot what a football looks like.
They're round things, aren't they? They're not square.
A young man says, as annoying as voiding the season would be, it's the best thing to do, whether you like to admit it or not. Everything, every league, Champions League, Europa League, need to be restarted. So, a lot of people are starting to look at that. Somebody here having a bit of a dig at Leicester.
Where's that?
There's Leicester have no squad depth. He looks like a Chelsea fan there.
Don't be silly. We've got positions covering all bases, man. Look, Dennis Pratt. He replaces like Madison, or he sometimes drops in for Tillemans. You've got Chowdhury, who drops in sometimes for Ndidi. You know, we've got Soyuncu at the back. I can imagine he's going on about the centre backs because we've got like Soyuncu, Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans is getting older. Wes Morgan's, I think he's done. I think it's probably his last season, I think. So we do need a new centre back. But I mean, I think we've got a decent squad depth, to be fair.
I think we've got a decent squad. There's a couple of players there that I wouldn't mind. I mean, taking Ndidi off your hands.
Yeah, what a player he is. My word. You know, I've been quoted on this, I think, before. N'Golo Kante. No one knew who he was, came to Leicester, and we had that fantastic season. It was a remarkable season. And then he moved to Chelsea. He's since gone on to win Premier League and a World Cup as well. But at the time when he was at Leicester, and then you've got Ndidi playing at Leicester right now, he's playing exactly the same as Kante was. Honestly, he is just the same kind of player, and I think he's going to be, if not as good as him.
Do you think Leicester would sell him?
Yeah, at some point. Not yet, but at some point. And I think I think he will be our record selling player ever. Harry Maguire, we got rid of for 80 million. Put him in the back of my car and took him myself. But we replaced him with Soyuncu, who was sat on the bench for 12 months, by the way.
Soyuncu, and Arsenal were looking at Soyuncu. Before you guys bought Soyuncu, Arsenal were looking at him as well.
So he was sat on the bench for probably 12 months under Claude Puel. Sorry, I'm just moving. And to the fact that we sold him for 80 mil and just in you go, Soyuncu, fill in the role, and he did. And he's amazing. My camera's gone blurry. Sorry, Robbie. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
What about Maddison? A lot of clubs have been looking at Maddison as well, haven't they?
Yeah, but we've got that Grealish argument, ain't you, as well? The Grealish-Maddison argument that always comes into
Who's
it
better?
as well. Yeah,
who's better out of Grealish and Maddison?
It's a bit like the Gerrard Lampard argument, isn't it? They're both kind of different players, really. They're not the same, so how can you compare them? I think Grealish probably at the minute is more of the individual player, like Ronaldo, to our Maddison move more compared to like Messi, like more of a team-based player. Who would I take out of the two? God, I don't want to say that.
Saying, be honest, Maddison or Grealish?
I'd take Grealish at the minute.
Take Grealish, all right, cool.
At the minute.
Okay, David says, Coventry fan here, obviously jealous of Leicester, but yeah, fair play. They have fantastic owners that care. Love done, Robbie. Hope you're all keeping well. Love from Coventry. Big up to Coventry. Again, that's another club that would be affected if the season was voided because they're on the verge of going up as well.
Well, that might be a curse on their ground because the groundsman that built their ground, I believe, was a Leicester fan, and he buried a Leicester jersey in the soil. Yeah, well, you Google that and you'll find it. It's a genuine story on the media. So I don't know.
just going back on the Ndidi thing, yeah, because I like that player, man. I mean,
Great player.
He'd suit Arsenal.
Yeah, why not? I think he'd suit most of the big sides. I think he's destined for a bigger side, sorry to say, than you. I think he's destined for somewhere like Madrid. I really do. I think he's 20. Is he 24 now? I think he just had a birthday, didn't he? I'm sure it came. I think it popped up on Twitter that it was his birthday. I'm sure it was.
This guy also says thoughts on Chilwell since Chilwell's season, since Morris skinned him, he's never been the same.
What was that? Chilwell. Oh, man. The thing is, right, you guys, because you're not Leicester fans, you don't see Leicester for 90 minutes. If you watch Match of the Day highlights and you see Leicester then, so you see the best of Chilwell. But the problem is you don't see what's going on after all those clips. He isn't a complete player at all. I think he's overhyped and overrated because of his England camp. A lot of errors. Leaves Soyuncu wide open he's always defending two men, that poor bloke. Honestly, Chilwell leaves him wide open all the time. He's always out of position, loses the ball a lot. He's not as good as people think. Ricardo Pereira, on the other hand,
I rate him.
Probably the best right back in the league next to Trent.
Yeah, we actually did is when we was doing the 24-hour thing. We did a team of the season, and I actually had Pereira in there instead of Trent.
You've got it.
Even though it was really hard to do that but I just think that when I looked at him and Trent, I was like, he does both things. So he defends very well and gets forward.
Yeah. Whereas
Trent defends well, gets forward brilliantly, lots of assists. But I think if you're looking at for an all-round right back, I'd say Pereira.
Great player.
He's very good player.
He's not scared to go forward. He just goes forward and he's always hanging around, on the corners. He's hanging around that box and he'll hit it. If it comes out, he'll hit it. He's a great player, honestly.
Sure. Would you rather the Europa League? Would you rather the Europa League or not be in it and do well to qualify for the Champions League? I think that was the ones directed to me as an Arsenal fan. I think, listen, I'm fed up with the Europa League, man. I'd rather not be in it at all. When you lot won the league, you weren't in any European competition. When Chelsea won it recently, they weren't in any competition. Maybe it might suit us, for that to happen. Ben says, what needs to happen for Leicester to be considered a top club?
That's a good question, and that's something that we've been talking about on the Leicester Fan TV.
Is they a top club already?
I mean, we're a top club, but I think what he means is establishing into that, that big six side where you get worldwide fan base start following you and stuff. I think the problem is growing football fans, because I think we're at a point where, like the world, everyone kind of supports some sort of side, and supporters don't just change clubs, do they, Robbie?
No, obviously not.
So where's the new?
Mind you, you do have fans abroad.
Yeah,
but it's not even that they change clubs. You have kids that are growing up that see successful clubs and want to follow them.
Yeah, so I think that's where it's going to rely on, is obviously the youngsters following it. And I think there's almost a new bounce for the club in Leicester, because 10 years ago we was really nowhere, to be quite honest with you. Before the King Power brand came in, we was really struggling as a club. And you'd walk around, you wouldn't see any kids with Leicester tops on. They'd all be like, Arsenal, Man City, Man United, the usuals. But if you walk around Leicester now, it's all the kids are Leicester fans again. So clearly something's happened locally, but I don't know about internationally.
Would you consider Leicester to be a bigger club than Tottenham?
Yeah, you said Tottenham. There you go. There's a drink. Who came third in a 2-horse race? Who came third in a 2-horse race? 4 years on, Robbie. I told you, don't say Tottenham, so I'm going to drink.
But would you consider yourself a bigger club than Tottenham?
I'd say we're on par.
You won the league. They haven't won the league, have they?
They've won Jack.
They've won the Premier League.
Someone asked me, Drifty asked me on the show a minute ago on his, and he said, Brendan Rodgers, that's the one you want to look after. You don't want him to go anywhere, because I can see him going to a bigger club. That's what he said. And he says someone like Tottenham. And I laughed straight away, because I don't see like, here's Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers, if you want to go to a bigger club, you go up. You go up to Arsenal. You go up to Liverpool. You go up. You don't go that way, because that's what Tottenham is. It's that way. What have they done? What have they done apart from being qualified in the Champions League for, I don't know, a few years in a row, which Arsenal did for about 15 years straight?
Longer.
Exactly. It's not an accomplishment. It's just something to say, oh, we're a big club because we're in Europe. I mean, that's not how it works. Just because they're in London, that's all it is because they're in London. We're in the middle, in between Manchester and London, so we're in the middle of nowhere. So we're regarded as a small club, Robbie.
Alex Wilden says, Don, Robbie and Lee, I hope you're both well and keeping safe. I work for the NHS as a porter. I have to wear a mask and protective glass. It's wrong to continue the Premier League season. The players and their families are at a big risk. So that's coming from somebody in the NHS. They're on the front line, so you know.
Exactly, mate. I'm like I say, I told you, I'm a key worker. I'm a Royal Mail postman during the day. So I'm not in the same boat because she's in the real front line. But I've seen stuff out there, mate, and I don't want it. It just needs to not yet.
RAC87 says you can see he's a Liverpool fan there, but he says if the season is voided, I'd accept it, but not how the Dutch did it by keeping the current standings and no champions and relegations. If you void it, you need to scrap everything, goals, etc.
Oh no, I'm not having that, Robbie, because we've got the record of the away goals against Southampton, ain't we? We're now 9-0 banger. Yeah, I'm sure you watched that. We can't have that written out of history. You can't write that off.
You have to write off the season. No.
Right. Well, we're carrying on then.
You obviously you can remember it. There'd be loads of quizzes about it. There'd be like, you can imagine in about 15 years' time, they'd be like saying, in what season did Liverpool have a 25-point lead but didn't win the league and things like that. But basically it wouldn't really count for anything because the season would have been. And it would be harsh on you guys because you have had a great season, but you wouldn't get into the Champions League.
I don't know how I feel about that, mate. That 9-0 was a bit good.
Emmanuel says, Ricardo Pereira's class. Only Trent Alexander-Arnold and Kimmich, if he plays there, are comparable to Pereira. Could see him in an elite European side.
Well, I think he's come from a big European side. He came from Porto. When the Porto fans were messaging me saying Ricardo Pereira's coming to Leicester, mate, you won't believe it. I was like, really? Because he's one of our best players. And then he came and it was like, oh my word, how good is this guy? And he is, isn't he? I think he's definitely top 3 in the world, right back, and he can only go to a bigger club, I think.
Aubameyang, Alexander-Arnold, or Vardy?
Ooh.
And do you think Kasper Schmeichel is going to join Man United in the future, just like his father, Peter Schmeichel?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll step in his dad's footsteps at Old Trafford. He's already played for Man City. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if he wants to be compared to his old man. I mean, he won the Premier League at the same time as his dad did, the same age and everything, the first time. I mean, that's enough. Surely that's enough. You don't want to be trying to replicate his dad's career because his dad was a better keeper. Let's be honest. His dad, I think, in our time so far, I think he's been the best goalkeeper we've ever seen in our time. But Aubameyang, man, we just discussed this as well. It's a tough one to call. They're both fantastic strikers, but I think Vardy, for his personality, mate, he's such a character. He rattles the away fans. Aubameyang isn't that guy.
Aubameyang's a character as well in a different way.
In a different way, but Vardy is the rattler. He is the king. He is king of trolling the away fans. He's everything you want in a striker and more.
So is Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang's got a better all-round game. They're very similar in that they both sort of have a lot of pace.
Yeah,
they're both very instinctive finishers.
Can't we just have them both, Robbie?
Well, we were trying to sign Vardy that time, and he decided to stay at Leicester. But
I did a fake photo shoot for that. I don't mind admitting. I don't mind admitting.
What was the fake photo shoot?
Generally, an agency paid for me to do a fake, literally a fake Arsenal signing. It was horrendous.
So what was that? Tell us about that. What happened?
Do I have to?
yeah. You've let out the bag now, so you know.
At the time, I was managed by this guy that caused me too much trouble. I didn't know that he weren't who he said he was. He was absolutely fraud, you name it. Won't go into it too much, but he got me a gig by, I think it was by Slash Football. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, I remember Slash Football, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was through them. And I literally went into this building and there was like camera guys and blah, blah, blah. And we actually did a whole signing, press conference thing, fake people, fake fans, for everything, you name it. And I was in this booth and I holding up an Arsenal shirt. I genuinely did that. I hated it. I hated doing it, but at the time, it was a bit of banter, you know. I was just up for a bit of a laugh. But man,
did you get any stick?
Yeah. Oh God. Well, look. I'm up for a bit of a laugh, you know. That's me. I don't care.
What sort of stick did you get?
You can imagine.
What, from Leicester fans and Arsenal fans?
Just in general, yeah. I mean, it was a horrible time, mate, because people might not know this. I don't care. The Vardys blocked my accounts on social media, but that's because
they were peed off with you as well.
Yeah, but that wasn't because of what this was going on. It's because the guy that was managing me, he was running my social media accounts because I thought it was a genuine agency, and he weren't. It was actually lying underneath a real agency. They didn't know what was going on. So he was fraudulently telling me that it was someone else. And basically, he connived with the newspapers and whatnot and pissed them off through social media, created the story, screenshotted the blocks, sent them all through, and he got a lot of money because I've seen the invoices for the stories. And that's how the negative stuff impacted me. My own fault for giving my social media to someone that I didn't know, but at the same time, I thought he was an agency. Because the agency was a real thing.
Yeah, see, that's the thing in this. You get a lot of people like that. You get a lot of charlatans out there trying to, you know, they see a little opening and try and come in. It is, you know what I mean? I'd advise anybody who gets into social media, you start to get a little uplift, be very careful, because we've had them. You know what I mean? They're always floating about trying to take advantage of a situation. So I was sorry to hear that, man. That was...
So long story, man. You can find out. That's on my YouTube channel. BBC made a documentary on it. It's had 202,000 views as well. So I'd love to help push that one, Roy. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Dr. Viraj says, Saka or Chilwell?
Saka.
Yeah.
Next.
You don't really rate Chilwell, then, do you?
What would you pay for Chilwell?
I don't know. We were interested in Chilwell.
Name me your price.
Name your price. Arsenal fans sort of talking up Chilwell last year, saying like 30, 40 million.
I'll put him in my car now and I'll get him to you down the Emirates. Tomorrow he'll be there, all right.
So you're really not feeling him at all?
I did do, but it's a liability on the centre-backs. And right now we've only really got Soyuncu who's got legs, because Johnny Evans is getting too old and so is Wes Morgan.
Right, check this one out. Do a combined 11, Arsenal and Leicester. So I've got we'll do that. I've got a bit of paper here. So combined 11. So in goal.
What, between Leno or Kasper? That's tough. Who's the youngest?
Leno's younger, isn't he? Leno's 26.
I'll go with the more experience between the sticks then. We'll go with Schmeichel just based on...
No, I think I'll go with Leno. I think he's had a better season.
Yeah, he's had a better season. But who's won more recently? Just saying.
I had this the other night with Lewis at Chelsea. He reckons he'd have Kepa in front of Leno. I'm saying no chance.
Leno's a great goalkeeper.
I'm going Leno, man. I've got to have Leno in there. No?
All right. We'll go with Leno because we'll go with Leno.
You're on an Arsenal channel. We're going with Leno.
Right? I don't want to, but I've got no choice.
Right back, I'm definitely going with Pereira
all day long.
Pereira. Left back.
Ooh.
You've just been dissing Chilwell.
I know,
but Saka.
Yeah,
I just asked you this. He said Chilwell, or was it you?
I know, but I'm just being careful what I say now. I'm live on an Arsenal fan channel.
Saka, all right. Yeah. Centre backs.
Soyuncu.
Soyuncu, he's had a brilliant season. Definitely him in there.
Who's your second?
we've had like David. You know what?
David Luiz, I don't rate.
David Luiz has been up and down. Socrates has been up and down.
I don't rate.
I think I'd go with Johnny Evans. I think he's had a good
season.
But he's had a good season, hasn't he?
He's got a massive trophy cabinet.
Well, hasn't he had a good season for you guys this year?
Yeah.
Or is that
it was better than Harry Maguire the pre-season for him going 2018-19 season. Johnny Evans was better than Harry Maguire.
All right, so we put Evans in there. Midfield, I suppose, got to be Ndidi holding.
Ndidi's got to be there. You've got to have Ndidi. Man, would you Madison over Ozil?
Yeah, at the moment it'd have to be Madison.
I mean, even Yuri, man.
And then Tielemans. He ain't really.
I think he's
really
you know what?
This season, has he?
No, I think he's been unfit because every time we see him on the TV or on the screens or anything, he's got red cheeks and he's blowing. The guy's gassed. The guy's gassed. I'm telling you.
Our midfield's not really been up
Dennis
to scratch.
Pratt. Dennis Pratt.
Yeah, but he's not always started, has he, Dennis Pratt? That's another player we were going to buy.
Yeah, another
player. And you went Soyuncu, Dennis Pratt, Evans, all those three we were looking at before you were.
I mean, Ozil was your main man. What happened? I don't get what happened with him.
Yeah, he's not had a great season. I'd be unfair if I put him in there because he hasn't had a great season.
I think we just best go with all three Leicester, mate, in the middle.
Ceballos?
No, I'm just saying, as it is.
No, I'm just saying, what about Danny Ceballos in there?
Oh, I thought you were saying I'm biased. Brilliant.
I'm trying to. I don't know, man. Yeah, you know what? I think it might be a Leicester midfield, man. Midfield's not really performed very well this season. You can't put Xhaka in there. You've got Ndidi in there. You can't put Torreira in there. You've got Ndidi in there.
Yeah,
Madison definitely needs to go in there.
Xhaka,
then the other players that have sort of filled in it, Ozil's not really been great this season. He's been indifferent. I mean, overall, he's, when you look at talent overall, he should be in there, but he's not. He doesn't deserve to be in there on what he's done this season, and that's what I'm looking at. All right, Tielemans. I suppose we put Tielemans in there.
Man.
And then now it's the front three.
Okay, this is gonna be tough because I love Lacazette. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, I think you got to put Vardy and Aubameyang in there. So you could put Vardy down the middle and Aubameyang on the left hand, and then on the right, who plays right?
Got Perez, ain't you?
Jose Perez.
Yeah.
I think Pepe's done better than him. I'll put Nicolas Pepe in there then. So that's the team. So
don't forget the young whippersnapper Harvey Barnes on the left for Leicester.
Yeah, he's not been, but we've got Aubameyang on the left.
Yeah.
Right, and we could even put Saka on playing further, or Martinelli on the left as well. He's been excellent as well. So the team looks like this at the moment: Leno, Pereira, Sionchu, Evans, Saka, Ndidi, Madison, Tielemans, Pepe, Vardy, and Aubameyang. Who would have thought that you got an Arsenal combined team and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Leicester players in it?
Wow, that's insane. That's insane.
That reflects the fact that you've had a much better season than us.
I think that reflects the club growing as a club. Because if we'd done this video 15 years ago, I think you'd have probably put no one.
There'd be no Leicester players in there, would there?
I mean, the only game I could think of was the Steve Walsh goals coming back against Arsenal 3-3 when he about scrapped with Ian Wright. I can't think of any player that would have gone in.
No.
That's mad. That's mad.
That is crazy. That, as you said, I think that shows how far Leicester have come.
Yeah. Credit to Leicester, really.
Milo says, imagine a back line with Johnny Evans, Mustafi, Phil Jones, and Otamendi. But the thing is, everyone's taking, and I remember when Johnny Evans was linked with a move to Arsenal,
yeah.
Universally, every Arsenal fan was so upset and was like, no way, we don't want him. He's another, because we've had before Sylvester come from Man United and it was terrible. But to be fair to Johnny Evans, he has been good this season. He's been very good.
Yeah. I think it's just the experience has come through, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, you carry on. Sorry.
I just hope that the experience of Johnny Evans with that trophy cabinet of his rubs off onto Sionchu, because he's just an outstanding centre back, and I think he'll be going far. Another player that will be going far.
Georgie One for LCFC says Casper is way better than Leno.
I wouldn't say he's way better. I feel like he is probably
I mean, I know that Leno's made a few mistakes this season. So I've seen Casper Schmeichel make a few errors this season as well.
Distribution's poor this season by Casper. There won't be a 90-minute game where he hasn't kicked it out wide at least 4 times.
Leno's distribution needs to improve as well, to be fair. Reece says Casper Schmeichel is highly underrated. He's quality.
He is. He's great, honestly. And I think he's definitely a leader on the pitch. For sure.
Mr. A says, I'm off for a drink, Robbie. That combined 11 was humbling as an Arsenal fan. I mean, it is embarrassing for me. But if I'm looking at it again, and I have to be 100% honest. I'm looking at it. Leno in goal. Pereira has been superb. I'd have him at Arsenal tomorrow.
Yeah, all day.
Sionchu I'd have at Arsenal tomorrow. Evans has had a good season. Saka's played really well, deserves to be in there on the left-hand side. And Didi, you can't argue with that. He's been one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe.
It's the next Kante, mate, all day long.
Maddison has had a great season again. I mean, everyone's, you can't argue with that. Tielemans maybe
fizzled out a bit.
Aubameyang, Vardy, and Pepe, and even Pepe.
I'm scared of that. Who's defending that?
I mean, he's done a few good things, but he hasn't really lived up to his price tag, if I'm being honest. So
that's a good squad.
That is a good squad, but as an Arsenal fan, as a big club like Arsenal, we're looking on that like, hold on a minute. It should be the other way around. It should be like 8 Arsenal players in there, and So, but I think that's shows you that Leicester have come a really long way. You know what I mean? And they are a quality team, and it's no fluke that they're in third place, is it?
Recruitment, planning, and just balls, because our owners have got balls. They really have. They won't just let a player go like that. They will get as much money for it as possible. Look at Aaron Maguire, Look at Mahrez. I think we held on to 80 million. Yeah, Vishai, bless his soul, held Mahrez by his ears. Do you remember that photo?
Yeah. This one is a Schmeichel. This is his 11. Schmeichel, Pereira, Sionchu, Evans, Chilwell, Xhaka, Ndidi, Maddison. Xhaka. I don't know how he gets
what?
Aubameyang, Martinelli, and Vardy.
Wow.
Xhaka in there. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
And this guy said, Johnny Evans can't give you lot a look at Arsenal. David Luiz, Socrates, Holding, Mavropanos, Chambers, Mustafi, Mertesacker, Koscielny. How many more centre-backs does it take to get a good centre-back duo?
Well, we could do with a few spare, mate. Like I said, we've really only got the main 3.
Yeah, but
Wes Morgan's, I think, older than you, Robbie.
Not quite. Charlie says, just proves what good ownership does. Under Kroenke, Arsenal will continue to go further down the league until they invest. Hashtag Kroenke out.
Well,
you have very good owners, don't you?
Yeah, they've invested 100 million into a new training facility, which is actually finished, so it should be ready for whenever the season comes back after the summer. We'll be ready. It's a brand new, state-of-the-art, £100 million training facility that not many clubs have got.
I've been to your old training ground, actually.
Yeah, Beaver Drive.
Yeah. My son was up there.
Yeah,
had trials there. Yeah.
I think you told me actually. Yeah.
So that was looking a little old. Still had good facilities, to be fair. It's still decent.
Old. Very old.
But now they got this all new training ground.
Apparently, that old one at Beaver Drive, it was very run down until about 2004 when do you remember Mad Dog, Martin Allen?
Yeah.
He was manager for us for about 4 months. I think he only had about 4 games. We had him on Leicester Fan TV for a chat. He's the one that made all the flowers and everything get planted and make it look a bit nicer. Because before it was
that bad. It wasn't that, but I mean, in comparison to like, you know, see Arsenal, Tottenham's grounds, training grounds and that, but it wasn't that bad. It was still modern facilities, but obviously you could see it was a little rough around the edges. But now, you got that new one. 100 million.
Yeah. Have a Google. You'll see it. It's honestly, it's unbelievable. 18-hole golf course, hotels, you name it. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Leicester stepping up, man.
Yeah, man.
Ben says, what happened to Damari Gray? I always rated him, but he never really plays.
He's on his way out. He's threw his dummy out. He's deleted everything to do with Leicester on all his social media. Yeah, all his social media. Everything's gone. He's not in Brendan Rodgers' plan, as far as I'm aware. He's not in Rodgers' plan at all.
Wow.
You know what? He's a decent lad, but he reminded me of how like Theo Walcott for Arsenal. There was no end product. You didn't know what he was going to do at the end. Like, are you a striker or are you a right wing? What are you? Because you're not doing either. He just didn't get any better when he was with us. You know, he looked promising, but ended up not being.
You think you're definitely going to sell him?
Yeah, I think he's gone. Definitely. Why would you delete like even your Premier League? He won the Premier League. Don't forget his name's on it. He's got a medal.
That kid you got there, Justin. I know his dad actually.
James Justin. Yeah, came from Luton, didn't he?
Yeah. I know his dad. I know his dad from back in the day. Yeah,
he's going to do well.
Yeah, he's doing. He was at Luton, wasn't he? He was at Luton, Luton Town. Yeah. Dust says, Mari Saliba will be the centre back duo. Nobody is buying. Yes, they will be the centre back, and we're all excited to see what Saliba is going to be like. And we bought him Marion. He's only really had 1 game, so we haven't really been able to see. But certainly, you know, we need to fix that centre back. It's been a real horror area for us over the last few years, as they said. Peter says, you started it good. They are not easily intimidated into selling their best players. They're ambitious, and getting Rodgers was a brilliant move. Again, he says that getting Rodgers was a brilliant move. Brendan Rodgers was linked to Arsenal. Again, every Arsenal fan and his dog was like, no, I don't want Rodgers nowhere near my club. No, this is Arsenal. We're not showing any ambition. And he's gone to you guys, and he's been brilliant, hasn't he?
He loves it up here, though, as well, you know, because we've got a national park called Bradgate Park, right? And he loves it around there. It's like it's countryside, it's open. He loves it there. So I don't know. The guy loves it in Leicestershire. Maybe he don't like London. Maybe it's too busy and horrible. I don't know. I don't know.
Elliot said that combined 11 is Gazidis Wenger's legacy. Embarrassing. Sell. A lot of Arsenal fans are a bit upset. Because you know what the thing is, right? We can't even turn around and say, "Nah, what you're talking about? That's ridiculous." That 11, that is it's quite damning when you see that 11.
It might be for you guys, but I see it as it's just a massive move for our club. Where we're going, just unreal, man. We was in League One 12 years ago, Robbie.
Yeah, no, the rise of Leicester has been incredible. Which club do you think will spend the most money in this transfer window?
Newcastle.
I think it might be, Newcastle. I think he might be talking about us and you.
Yeah. Is he firing questions between me?
I think that could be a question between like Arsenal or Leicester.
Well, we've been linked to Coutinho because obviously he's linked with playing with Brendan Rodgers. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if he'd come to Leicester or not. I don't know if he sees us as a big club or not. I think it's down to if we get Champions League football or not, if it's given to us or not. I have no idea. But I mean, that's what kind of player is he? 80 million, 100 million? I don't know. 70
million, I think. No, I think at least 70 million.
There's another player that Leicester are interested in, which was Brendan Rodgers has got his eyes on I think it's a striker from Glasgow Rangers. Is it Alfredo?
Edouard.
Is it Morelos?
Oh, Morelos.
Yeah. So I don't know what
he's up down there. He's a right troublemaker. He is.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's what he's after, Brendan Rodgers, isn't he? Because Vardy's a troublemaker. That's what he is. I think he's looking for that replacement.
Morelos is even worse wind-up merchant than Vardy, if you can get that.
So there you go. So I don't know. I don't know what that's going to set us back though.
Yeah, with Arsenal, I think it's more going to be loan deals and swap deals, is what we've been told. So
wow.
Vibiav says, Robbie, when will the Arsenal board stop making a fuss about every financial matter, be it wages or signings? We mostly end up signing free agents or other club rejects. So frustrating as an Arsenal fan. It is. Talking to a Leicester fan now, and we should be that club up there. Whether
you are.
No, but I'm saying we are up there, but we're not acting like it. That's what's upsetting a lot of Arsenal fans right now. Of course, we're up there, but how you're describing what's going on at Leicester is what we should be doing. And it's
just unambitious. Leicester are ambitious, Robbie.
Ambition.
That's all.
I think that's what fans want to see, ambition. Yeah. And we're not really seeing it from our owners at the moment. We're not seeing it at all. Manny says, I would never accept, of Leicester that they'd be back on top after selling Kante, Mahrez, and Maguire.
To be honest with you, though, I don't really think we've missed Mahrez all that much. And I don't really think we've missed Maguire. The only player we kind of missed when we sold was Kante that season, because the following season we didn't do so well in the Premier League. But although we didn't do well in the Premier League, we smashed it in the Champions League. We did really well. We got to the quarterfinals of Atletico Madrid. But maybe that was just squad depth, the reason why we didn't do so well in the Premier League, not losing Kante. I don't know, but Leicester seem to cope with selling players. Leicester cope well.
Very, very well. Very, very well. There's one I was looking for. One particular one. It's just
we cope because look, we sold Maguire for 80 million and replaced him with someone on the bench. Robbie, not many teams do that these days.
Yeah. So you still got all that 80 million in reserve if you really want to go out and.
It's ridiculous.
Sachin says Leicester have a better midfield and defence than Arsenal.
Probably apart from maybe the left back. That's probably an argument for different fans, but other than that, yeah.
There's a lot of people linking Chilwell to Chelsea.
Yeah, that's a thing that's been going on. I mean, but Chilwell was linked to Liverpool for quite a while though as well. So I don't know.
You really don't rate him. You're just really saying that he's not all that.
I just don't think
he's overhyped.
He's got that England thing going on as well now, so he's even more of a overhyped player.
Okay, Nino says Leicester's recruitment is absolutely brilliant. Why can't Arsenal find these players? Yeah, we've got Martinelli, but not much else. To be fair to Arsenal, the recruitment in the summer, Nicolas Pepe, all right, he hasn't hit the heights yet, but very good signing. Martinelli, when he says about the recruitment, Martinelli has been an absolute find. So has Guendouzi. So I think he's been a bit harsh there. But then Leicester's recruitment has been excellent.
Yeah.
The signing of Pereira, for instance, the signing of Pereira, the loan deal that you did for Tielemans.
Yep.
Barnes, who you had, he was out on loan, wasn't he? And
Claude Puel brought him back too early. I thought, which was
Sionchu.
Yeah.
Sionchu, you know what I mean? And then your recruitment, I think it's like you got to balance it up with who you sold as well. Like the sale of Kante, the sale of Mahrez, the sale of Maguire.
There's a poster somewhere, Robbie. It's ridiculous. There's a poster somewhere. There's a poster somewhere. Someone made a brilliant poster of Leicester's owner with loads of cash, players behind him that he's got rid of. It's a brilliant poster. I'll try and find it for you. Absolutely brilliant.
The thing is about it, right, is that has been the big problem with Arsenal. Is that when we've sold players, we haven't got anything for it. Aaron Ramsey left for 0.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? An experienced player like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't old. He weren't like he was not like Willian where he's leaving at the age of 31. You know what I mean? He was like 26, 27. I think 27, 28, sorry. Left, gone to Juventus on a free transfer. How was that allowed to happen? You know what I mean? So, and then you look at, as we're saying, we look at what you guys have done. Maguire, 80 million.
Yeah.
Mahrez 50 million.
Yeah. Johnny, it's just mad, isn't it?
Kante was like 40 million. Nearly, over 200 million in those 3 players alone.
Riyad Mahrez we bought for 500 grand.
500, yeah, that's right. You bought him for £500,000.
Yeah.
And you sold him for what, 50 million?
I think it was 6. I'm not sure if it was 50 or 60. I can't remember.
That's half of the training ground that you've built paid for. When that one signing.
Danny Drinkwater, same thing. Man United, right. Man United reject, won the Premier League with Leicester. I didn't want him to go at the time, but have we missed him?
He's had a nightmare as well, hasn't he?
And he's had a nightmare.
He went for about 30 million or 30 million as well, didn't he?
Since he left Leicester, he's played 8 games.
Jeez, he's had a lot of discipline issues off the pitch, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but it's incredible. Like, I think therein we see the problems at Arsenal. It's not just the recruitment of players; it's what, when you compare it to Leicester, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
Cameron says Arsenal decline started in 2008 when City beat them 3-0. Stephen Ireland, Robinho, and Sturridge all scored.
He's got a good memory because I can't remember anything like that.
He's got a very good memory. Mike Dennis, I suppose this one's for both of us. We're going to do a couple more. He says, what would be your dream transfer window?
My word. I mean, it's just like dream, like I can just have.
No, you can't have Messi and Ronaldo. You got to keep it realistic.
Realistic? Well, I can't do realistic because I feel like the players that I do want are probably from sides that are a little bit bigger than us.
Like who?
I'd love Van Dijk. That's not going to happen because
that's unrealistic.
Yeah,
got to be more realistic than that.
I take Giroud. I take Giroud because we need a plan B, Robbie. We've got no plan B. We've got no one in the air. There's no aerial threat. If you watch Leicester, it's all based on the floor. We've got nothing now because we had Harry Maguire before, and that was all aerial threat from counters, from set pieces and stuff. But now we don't play.
Algerian striker you had.
Oh, Slimani. He's still out on loan. I think he's still out on loan. I think we own him still. I'm not sure, but it just didn't work for him at Leicester. It didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, my dream for me. There's so many.
Yeah, but you could technically. How we've done this combined thing. You could pick most of the Leicester squad.
I'd have Ndidi. I'd have out of your squad there, and out of the players you put there, Pereira and Ndidi. Those two players alone would improve. Actually, Pereira, Sionchu, and Ndidi would push us into the Champions League places. Those 3 players. That's how, they are quality players. Danet says, if there will be no fans at games, should this be the same for all European games then? It will be. Yeah. It will be as far as I know. And Elliot says, recruitment at Leicester is streets ahead of Arsenal. Best pound for pound in the Premier League. Question, can we swap management groups?
The thing is, Robbie, what you keep mentioning recruitment stuff. We have changed managements and stuff. Like, I don't know, probably 3 times. So I don't know what it is. I don't know who's in charge of recruitment because... But
you still kept the same recruitment team.
It's weird.
See, that's how a lot of clubs operate nowadays, is that, and Arsenal have recently, and this is one of the problems with Arsenal, we've only recently taken up that model, where basically the recruitment team stays the same.
Yes.
And they buy the players, and then the manager or the coach really comes in. Your job is to get the best out of those players.
Yes.
Whereas we had a model for a long time, which was Arsene Wenger buying all the players that he wanted, him and Gazidis. And then now you got the problem of, Arteta coming in and having a lot of players there that don't really suit what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
They don't see what they're trying to do. So, yeah, that's been our problem.
Yeah. I think
we're gonna do. We've got over an hour now, so I'm gonna do a couple more. Manny says Arsenal can look up to Leicester, especially in terms of transfers and management. And let's try and get another one, a neutral one. This guy saying Man City play with no fans anyway. I'm sure we can all do it.
Bants.
It's
funny that is. It's half true though.
Alio says if Leicester kept hold of players like Maguire, Kante, how close to Liverpool do you think they would be to challenging for the title?
Honestly, we don't miss Maguire. I don't know why people keep saying things like that. We don't miss Harry Maguire at all.
Not at all.
Not one bit. No, not one bit. It was slow. It didn't work. That's why he's gone.
So when he went, were you a bit gutted when he went?
No, I was happy for the £80 million to the club. It's a great investment, and it was a great. We put Sionchu in. Look, everyone's talking about Sionchu.
Yeah, but did you think to yourself at the time that?
No, of course not. I thought, oh no, that's kind of bad. But literally,
at the time, you was like, I've got no problem with him going.
At the time, I was £80 million laughing. Honestly, great player. Oh, by the way, a class act. By the way, my son was poorly. He was in hospital with rare condition, and Aaron Maguire sent a message to him. Nice little video message. Get well soon, pal. Blah blah blah. So class act all the way around. But for £80 million, I was more than happy for him to go. Fair play to him. He's moved to a massive club, probably the biggest club in the world. I
thought at first, I was like, you might suffer, because the thing as well with Maguire, he had those leadership qualities, didn't he?
He did. But so not missed him. We've not missed him. And Kante, again, the same thing. Rules apply. I think we moved on after the season. Kante went. I think we moved on and we found Ndidi, and we worked around that system. Final question, this one: Arteta or Rodgers? Huh? Arteta or Rodgers? That's kind of easy because I'm biased. But what Rodgers has done for Leicester this season, I don't think Arteta could have done for Leicester this season.
Yeah, listen, you've got to go to Rodgers. Arteta's just starting out on his journey.
Yeah,
it's way too early, I feel, to say if he's going to be as good as Rodgers. I think where Rodgers has had a bit of an advantage is he's taken over he saw the team that he was taking over. It was very young, very exciting team, some very good players, but Rodgers has got the best out of those players. Guys like Sionchu, Pereira, a lot of players. You know what the funny thing was about it? I looked at Leicester and I was like, and I'm hoping this is what's going to happen with Arteta, because I looked at Leicester, and Leicester under Claude Puel so reminded me of Arsenal under Unai Emery.
Yeah.
You know, the players weren't playing for him.
No,
he kept playing players in weird positions. Puel,
sideways football.
Remember he didn't want to play Vardy. He was doing all these crazy things. You're like, why don't you just keep it simple? Yeah. And then basically, Rodgers just came in and kept it simple, didn't he? And just played to people's strengths. And I think in the same way, Arteta's doing the same thing. He's coming in and he's saying, right, he's making players play to their strengths and he's keeping it simple. But the one advantage I feel that Rodgers has got is that he's got a team that suits how he wants to play.
Definitely.
Whereas Arteta doesn't. He doesn't have that team at the moment.
There's a lot of players in there
that suit the system he wants.
But that will come, Robbie. That will come with time. And that's the problem in this day and age of football, and I think in the world in general, is patience. I think it's a lost art. I really do. Everything's now. Streaming services, taxis, Uber. Now. Everything's now quick. No one's got patience for nothing. Patience is a lost art form, Robbie, and that includes football fans. Patience is gone.
There's one thing that this thing's teaching us at the moment, is coronavirus, is patience.
100%.
And you can't go rushing out. You've got to wait. So maybe this is going to slow us down a bit. Listen, Lee, thank you very much for coming on. Really, really appreciate it. You've given us a great insight tonight.
I really enjoyed
tell everybody about your channels and how they can get to see more content from you.
Yeah, we do a lot of Leicester content, like yourself, Robbie. Every other night, we're kind of on live on Leicester Fan TV, on YouTube, Facebook. We've got 130,000 on Facebook now. We're pushing 5K on YouTube and growing on Twitter and Insta as well. So that's all Leicester Fan TV. Every single social is the same, at Leicester Fan TV. You can follow me at Lee_Chappie.
All right, listen, Lee, appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. That's Lee Chapman there. Really appreciate him coming on tonight. Great insight. Thanks to you guys, as usual, for all your comments. We'll be back in the morning for AFTV News Daily, the early edition at 11. So make sure you check it out. Also, don't forget that All Guns Blazing podcast is out. DT is charring absolute fire. He's not happy with Stan Kroenke. Make sure you check that one out tomorrow. And also, don't forget to check out the Buyers Premier League show, which is out as well. That's another unhappy guy in Troops, this time very unhappy at some of the things that came out of Dele Alli's mouth. So some great content out there. So make sure you check it out, and we'll be back in the morning.